First contact. The vast expanse of space had always held secrets, but none quite as surprising as the small blue planet in the unfashionable western spiral arm of the Milky Way. As the Galactic Coalition's survey ship, the Stellar Seeker, dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system, Captain Zixara of the Arthon species felt a tingle of excitement course through her exoskeleton. "Scanners active, Captain," chirped her science officer, Lumi, a bioluminescent creature from the ocean world of Aquarius Prime. "We're picking up significant technological signals from the third planet." Zixara's compound eyes widened. Impossible. This system wasn't due for sapient evolution for another million years according to our models. The bridge of the Stellar Seeker hummed with activity as the crew, composed of various species from across the Coalition, worked to analyze the unexpected data pouring in from the sensors. "Captain," Lumi's voice wavered, "you're not going to believe this. The planet, it's a death world." A collective gasp echoed through the bridge. Death worlds were the stuff of legend, planets so inhospitable that the very idea of sapient life evolving there was considered absurd by most of the galactic community. Zixara's antennae twitched nervously. "Confirm that, Lumi. What are we dealing with here?" The science officer's bioluminescent patterns flickered rapidly as he processed the information. Extreme temperature variations, high gravity, diverse and often hostile flora and fauna, tectonic instability, and, by the cosmic core, they have molten rock erupting from fissures in the crust. And yet, Zixara mused, her voice filled with awe, they've achieved spaceflight and global communication networks. Fascinating. The Stellar Seeker cautiously approached Earth, maintaining a high orbit to avoid detection by the planet's primitive tracking systems. As they observed, the crew was struck by the frenetic pace of activity on the surface. Cities bustled with life, vehicles zipped along intricate road networks, and satellites whizzed by in low orbit. "They're so active," remarked Grix, the ship's engineer, his gelatinous form rippling with curiosity. "How do they survive in such a hostile environment?" Zixara pondered this for a moment. Perhaps it's because of their environment that they become so resilient. "We need to make contact, but we must proceed with caution. These humans, they might be more dangerous than we realize." As the Stellar Seeker prepared for first contact, the crew debated the best approach. Some argued for a gradual revelation, slowly introducing the concept of extraterrestrial life to humanity. Others pushed for a more direct approach, citing the humans' apparent adaptability as a sign they could handle the shock. In the end, Zixara made the decision. "We'll make contact with their global governing body. Surely, they must have one to have achieved this level of technological advancement." Oh, how wrong they were. The next few days were a flurry of activity as the Stellar Seeker attempted to decipher Earth's complex political landscape. The lack of a unified world government baffled the alien visitors, who struggled to comprehend how a species could advance so far while remaining so fractured. Finally, after much deliberation, they decided to broadcast a message to the entire planet, bypassing individual governments altogether. As Zixara stood before the ship's communication array, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. "People of Earth," she began, her words translated into every major language on the planet, "we come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Coalition. We are not alone in the universe, and neither are you." The response from Earth was immediate and chaotic. Social media exploded with reactions ranging from excitement to fear. Governments scrambled to formulate responses, militaries went on high alert, and religious leaders grappled with the theological implications of extraterrestrial life. As the Stellar Seeker monitored the global reaction, Zixara couldn't help but feel a mix of admiration and trepidation. The humans' ability to process and adapt to this world-shaking news was remarkable, but their potential for conflict was equally apparent. In the days that followed, a delegation from Earth was hastily assembled to meet with the Stellar Seeker's crew. The chosen location was a neutral site in international waters, where a temporary structure was erected to host the historic encounter. As Zixara prepared to meet the human representatives, she reviewed the briefing materials one last time. The diversity of Earth's ecosystems, cultures, and languages was staggering. How had life not only survived, but thrived in such a challenging environment? The first face-to-face meeting was a moment that would be etched in the annals of both human and coalition history. As the airlock cycled open, Zixara found herself face-to-face with the human delegation. The humans, for their part, did an admirable job of hiding their shock at the alien appearances. Years of science fiction had somewhat prepared them for the possibility of extraterrestrial life, but reality, as always, proved stranger than fiction. "Welcome to Earth," said Dr. Amelia Chen, the lead human diplomat, her voice steady despite the surreal situation. "We come in a spirit of friendship and mutual curiosity." Zixara inclined her head in a gesture of respect. "We are honored to make your acquaintance, Dr. Chen. Your world is unlike any we have encountered in our travels." As the initial pleasantries were exchanged, both sides began to relax slightly. The humans, true to their adaptable nature, quickly moved past the shock of alien contact and began peppering the coalition representatives with questions about galactic society, technology, and biology. The coalition members, in turn, found themselves fascinated by humanity's resilience and innovative spirit. They marveled at how a species could not only survive but excel in an environment that would be lethal to most galactic citizens. However, as the discussions progressed, it became clear that integrating Earth into the wider galactic community would be no simple task. The humans' warlike history and their planet's classification as a death world raised concerns among some coalition members. "You must understand," Lumi explained gently to the human delegation, "most sentient species evolve on worlds far more hospitable than Earth. Your very existence challenges many of our preconceptions about life in the universe." Dr. Chen nodded thoughtfully. "We've always known our planet could be harsh, but we've never considered it a death world. It's simply home to us." As the first day of talks drew to a close, Zixara found herself reflecting on the complexities of the situation. The humans were fascinating, full of potential, but also potentially dangerous. Their ability to thrive in such a challenging environment spoke to a strength and adaptability that could be either a great asset or a significant threat to galactic peace. Back on the Stellar Seeker, the crew debated long into the night about the implications of this first contact. Some saw the humans as a valuable addition to the coalition, bringing fresh perspectives and unparalleled resilience. Others worried about the potential consequences of introducing such a hardy and sometimes aggressive species to the wider galaxy. Zixara listened to all sides, her mind racing with possibilities. One thing was certain: the discovery of Earth and its inhabitants would send shockwaves through the galactic coalition. As she gazed out at the blue planet below, Zixara couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy would never be the same again. As the talks continued over the following weeks, both sides learned more about each other. The humans were quick to grasp the basics of galactic politics and technology, their natural curiosity driving them to absorb as much information as possible. The coalition representatives, in turn, were continually surprised by human ingenuity and their ability to think outside the box. One particularly memorable moment came when discussing faster-than-light travel. When the coalition engineers explained the principles behind their drive systems, Dr. Chen and her team quickly began proposing theoretical improvements based on cutting-edge human physics research. "Remarkable," Grix exclaimed, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement. "They've independently theorized concepts that took our scientists centuries to develop." As the first phase of contact drew to a close, both sides prepared for the next steps. The Galactic Coalition would need to debate Earth's potential membership, while humanity grappled with the monumental task of preparing for integration into a larger cosmic community. Zixara knew that the path ahead would be challenging, filled with cultural clashes, technological exchanges, and potentially unforeseen consequences. But as she watched the humans tackle each new challenge with determination and creativity, she couldn't help but feel a sense of hope for the future. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity, forged in the crucible of their death world, was ready to leave its mark among the stars. Cultural exchange. 6 months after first contact, Earth was abuzz with activity. The initial shock of alien existence had given way to a frenetic period of preparation and adaptation. Humanity, true to form, threw itself into the task of joining the galactic community with characteristic enthusiasm and occasional recklessness. Dr. Amelia Chen found herself at the center of this whirlwind as she stepped off the shuttle onto the Galactic Coalition's capital station, Harmony. The massive structure, a marvel of engineering that put even humanity's most ambitious space stations to shame, orbited a nondescript star at the heart of Coalition space. "Welcome to Harmony, Dr. Chen," a melodious voice greeted her. The speaker was a Melosian, a species that communicated primarily through complex harmonics. To human ears, their speech sounded like a beautiful song. "I am Aria, your liaison for the duration of your stay." Amelia smiled, marveling at the universal translator's ability to convey not just words, but tone and intent across species barriers. "Thank you, Aria. I'm honored to be here." As they made their way through the bustling corridors of Harmony, Amelia couldn't help but gawk at the diversity of life forms around her. Creatures of all shapes, sizes, and compositions moved about their business. Some floated on anti-grav platforms, others slithered along specialized pathways, and still others phased in and out of visible spectrum. "It's quite a sight, isn't it?" Aria chimed, her voice tinged with amusement. "Many species feel overwhelmed their first time on Harmony." Amelia nodded, her scientific mind racing to categorize and understand the myriad life forms around her. "It's incredible. I've studied the briefing materials extensively, but seeing it in person, it's beyond words." Their first stop was the Coalition's central chamber, where representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered to debate galactic policy. As Amelia entered, she felt the weight of countless alien gazes upon her. She was, after all, the first human many of them had ever seen in person. "Esteemed representatives," a booming voice announced, "I present Dr. Amelia Chen of Earth, here to observe our proceedings as part of the Cultural Exchange Program." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of sounds, from clicks and whistles to low rumbles and high-pitched trills. Amelia's translator struggled to keep up with the overlapping voices. "A Deathworlder here. Fascinating. I've heard they can survive extreme temperature variations. But are they safe? I've read reports of their violent history." Amelia took a deep breath, steeling herself. She had anticipated skepticism and fear, but the reality of it was still jarring. With a steady voice, she addressed the chamber. "Honored representatives, I come in peace and with an open mind. Earth may be classified as a death world by your standards, but to us, it is simply home. We have much to learn from you, but I believe we also have much to offer. Our resilience and adaptability have allowed us to overcome great challenges, and we hope to use these strengths to contribute positively to the galactic community." Her words seemed to have a calming effect on many of the representatives, though some still regarded her with wary eyes or equivalent sensory organs. Over the next few weeks, Amelia immersed herself in coalition culture and politics. She attended debates on interstellar trade policies, observed scientific exchanges between species with wildly different biologies, and even participated in a zero-gravity art installation that left her both exhilarated and slightly nauseous. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the first wave of alien tourists and cultural ambassadors were having their own adventures in cultural exchange. Zixara, now serving as the Coalition's primary ambassador to Earth, found herself constantly amazed by the humans' ability to adapt to new concepts and technologies. In a mere 6 months, humanity had made leaps in understanding and implementing alien tech that would have taken other species years, if not decades. However, this rapid progress was not without its challenges. As Zixara sat in on a UN Security Council meeting, She watched with a mix of fascination and concern as human leaders debated the implications of joining the galactic community. "We cannot allow Earth to become a mere colony or protectorate of this coalition," one representative argued passionately. "We must ensure our sovereignty and unique identity are preserved." Another countered, "But think of the benefits. Access to advanced medical technology alone could eliminate disease and extend human lifespans significantly. We'd be fools to isolate ourselves out of fear." In a breakthrough moment, a team of human physicists made a startling discovery. By analyzing the spatial rifts used by the Void Swarm, they theorized a way to predict where the next attack would occur. "It's not perfect," the lead physicist explained to a rapt audience of coalition and human leaders, "but it gives us a fighting chance to be there before they arrive." The coalition was skeptical at first, but desperation led them to give the human plan a chance. To everyone's surprise, it worked. For the first time since the invasion began, coalition forces were able to mount an effective defense, catching a Void Swarm fleet off guard as it emerged from a rift. The victory was small, but its impact was immense. Suddenly, the seemingly invincible swarm showed a weakness, and it was humanity that had found it. As news of the success spread, human innovations began to be adopted across coalition forces. Earth's militaries, experienced in combined arms warfare, helped reorganize coalition defenses. Human hackers worked tirelessly to breach swarm communications, providing valuable intelligence. But perhaps the most significant contribution came from an unexpected source. A team of human biologists and xenologists had been studying the biomechanical nature of the swarm's chips. In a moment of inspiration, they wondered, could the swarm be vulnerable to biological warfare? The idea was controversial, bringing up dark chapters of Earth's history. But as the team delved deeper, they realized they might be onto something revolutionary. "We're not talking about a weapon," Dr. Yuki Tanaka explained to a joint Human Coalition Ethics Committee. "We're talking about a virus that could disrupt the swarm's ability to adapt. It wouldn't kill them, just slow them down." The debate was fierce, but as reports of more coalition worlds falling to the swarm poured in, the decision was made to proceed. As work on the virus progressed, human diplomats worked tirelessly to unite the disparate coalition species. Earth's history of overcoming differences to face common threats proved invaluable in building a truly united front against the swarm. Months passed, and slowly but surely, the tide of war began to turn. Human innovations, combined with coalition technology and the vast resources of a united galaxy, began to push the swarm back. But the enemy was far from defeated. As if sensing the change in momentum, the Void Swarm's attacks became more desperate and vicious. Entire systems were laid waste in their retreat, and disturbing reports began to emerge of a massive buildup of swarm forces in a distant sector of space. It was clear that the final battle was approaching. Humanity had proven its worth to the galaxy, but their greatest test was yet to come. As the combined fleets of Earth and the Coalition prepared for the decisive confrontation, the question on everyone's mind was, would it be enough? The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and humanity, the upstart species from a forgotten Deathworld, found itself at the center of the storm. The stage was set for a battle that would echo through the cosmos for millennia to come. The final stand. The combined fleet of the Galactic Coalition, with Earth's ships at its heart, dropped out of FTL travel at the edge of the Nexus system. Before them lay the largest concentration of Void Swarm forces ever encountered, surrounding a massive structure that pulsed with otherworldly energy. On the bridge of the flagship Terran Hope, Admiral Kira Chen, Amelia's younger sister, stood alongside Sixara, now the supreme commander of coalition forces. The unlikely pair had formed a formidable leadership team, blending human tactical thinking with coalition strategic experience. By the cosmic core, Sixara breathed, her compound eyes wide. "I've never seen anything like it." Kira nodded grimly. "That structure must be their foothold in our galaxy. If we can destroy it, we might just end this war." As the coalition fleet took up battle positions, the Void Swarm reacted with brutal efficiency. Swarms of biomechanical fighters poured out from their capital ships, while energy weapons of incomprehensible power lashed out at the coalition lines. All ships execute Battle Plan Omega. Kira's voice rang out across the comm channels. Remember your training and trust in each other. Today, we fight not just for Earth or the coalition, but for the future of all life in the galaxy. The battle that ensued was unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. Coalition ships, their designs a hybrid of a dozen different species technologies, clashed with the ever-adapting swarm vessels. At the forefront, Earth's ships demonstrated maneuvers that seemed to defy the laws of physics, their crews pushing both themselves and their vessels to the absolute limit. On the medical frigate Hippocrates, Dr. Amelia Chen and her team worked feverishly. The biodisruptor virus they had developed was ready, but delivering it to the heart of the swarm's forces seemed almost impossible. "We need to get closer," Amelia shouted over the din of battle. "The virus won't be effective unless we can disperse it directly into their command structure." As if in answer to her plea, a squadron of Earth's most daring pilots broke through the swarm's defenses, creating a narrow corridor toward the central structure. "This is Captain Alejandro Reyes of the Starfire Wing," a voice crackled over the comm. "Dr. Chen, if you've got a package to deliver, we'll get you there. But you'll have to fly with us." Amelia hesitated for just a moment before her jaw set with determination. "I'm on my way." As Amelia's team loaded the virus canisters onto a specially modified fighter, the battle raged on. The coalition's lines began to buckle under the relentless swarm assault. It seemed that for every swarm ship destroyed, two more took its place. In the thick of the fight, a Zaan cruiser found itself surrounded and on the verge of destruction. Without hesitation, a squad of human ships broke formation to come to its aid, their crews knowing full well the risk they were taking. "Why?" the Zaan captain asked as the human ships escorted them to safety. "We've never been allies to Earth. Why would you risk your lives for us?" The human squadron leader's response was simple, "Because today we're all in this together." This scene repeated itself across the battlefield as human ships time and again put themselves in harm's way to protect their coalition allies. The Galactic Coalition, many of whom had once viewed humans with suspicion or fear, began to see them in a new light. Meanwhile, Amelia's fighter squadron dodged and weaved through a maelstrom of enemy fire. As they approached the central swarm structure, Amelia's scientific mind raced. The structure's design, its energy readings, everything pointed to a horrifying conclusion. "It's not just a foothold," she realized. "It's a dimensional gateway. They're not invading our galaxy, they're trying to merge it with theirs." As this revelation spread through the coalition fleet, the stakes of the battle became even clearer. This wasn't just about survival, it was about preserving the very fabric of their reality. With renewed determination, coalition forces pressed their attack. The human-led squadron finally broke through to the central structure, and Amelia's team deployed the virus. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a wave rippling through water, the effect spread. Swarm ships began to lose cohesion, their adaptive abilities faltering. "It's working," Amelia shouted triumphantly. "Now's our chance." Admiral Kira Chen, seeing the opportunity, issued her final command: "All ships, converge on the central structure. Give it everything you've got." What followed was a bombardment of unprecedented scale. Coalition ships of every size and design unleashed their full arsenal upon the swarm's dimensional gateway. Human ingenuity, coalition technology, and the combined will of a united galaxy focused on a single point in space. The structure began to collapse in on itself, energy tendrils whipping out in its death throes. As the gateway imploded, it created a massive shockwave that rippled through space-time. "All ships, brace for impact," Kira yelled, but her warning came too late. The shockwave hit the coalition fleet with tremendous force. Ships were tossed about like leaves in a storm. For several harrowing minutes, chaos reigned. Then slowly, the turbulence subsided. As systems came back online and the dust settled, the survivors looked out upon a battlefield strewn with debris, both coalition and swarm. But the Void Swarm's central structure was gone, and with it, the invading forces seemed to lose all cohesion. The remaining swarm ships drifted aimlessly or simply shut down. A stunned silence fell over the coalition fleet, broken only by the crackle of emergency communications and damage reports. Then, gradually, a realization swept through the survivors. They had won. Cheers erupted across every ship in the fleet. Species that had once been bitter enemies embraced as brothers in arms. And at the center of it all were the humans, the newcomers from a death world who had changed the course of galactic history. In the days and weeks that followed, as the galaxy began the long process of recovery, the story of the battle spread. The heroism of Earth's forces, the brilliance of human scientists, and the unifying effect of humanity's presence in the coalition became legend. The Galactic Coalition, forever changed by the war and by their interactions with humanity, began to evolve. New policies were enacted, encouraging the blending of different species' strengths and technologies. Earth's unique perspective was now sought after in matters of science, diplomacy, and defense. As for Amelia Chen, she found herself hailed as a hero across the galaxy. But as she stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, looking out at the stars, her thoughts were not on glory or accolades. "We've got so much to learn," she mused to Zixara, who had become a close friend through their shared trials, "and so much to share." Zixara's antennae twitched in what Amelia had come to recognize as a smile. "Indeed, my friend, I believe this is just the beginning of a grand new era for us all." As they stood there, human and alien united in friendship, the galaxy spread out before them, a realm of endless possibilities, challenges, and adventures. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not just as survivors or warriors, but as innovators, unifiers, and explorers. The Deathworlders had not just survived, they had thrived. And in doing so, they had changed the very fabric of galactic society, ushering in a new age of cooperation, discovery, and hope. The echoes of terror would resonate through the cosmos for eons to come, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a species that had once thought itself alone in the universe, but now stood as a beacon of resilience and unity for all galactic life.